Hey, good morning. Welcome back to GP Outdoors. I wanted to make a quick video today because I've had a lot of dialogue and a lot of comments from subscribers and questions about this flail mower, and most importantly, a lot of folks want me to turn this thing upside down and see how it's weathered the storm so far after a few weeks of use. So grab a coffee, stick around with me, and let's take a look through and answer some of those questions. Cheers. So a couple things I want to do today. We've had a lot of great dialogue, comments, suggestions, questions on the channel between different subscribers, some who are experienced with flail mowers, some who have experience with bush hogs. A couple of folks asking questions because they're looking at possibly getting a mower for their property, not sure what type would fit their property. So I'm going to answer some of those questions or talk about it at least to the best of my ability. Second thing I want to do is take you around and show you some of the areas that I have cut with the flail mower a little closer. And then the third thing, which a number of people asked, is I've had the thing for about 2 or 3 weeks. I've used it on 9 different areas between my property and my neighbors down the concession. So I want to flip it over, take a look at the hammers and see how it's worn or how well it's worn underneath after 3 weeks of use. So some comments and questions about different types of mowers. As you folks know, if you watch the channel, I am not a tractor expert, I'm not an attachment expert, I'm not a mower expert. But I've done a little bit of research, watched some YouTubes, I've Googled, I've talked to people who have different types of mowers, I've gone to a couple of different stores or manufacturers in the past. So to the best of my knowledge, there are 3 different types of mowers, generally, and I'm sure there's different other types, but generally speaking, there's a finish mower, flail mower, and a rotary mower, which is often called a bush hog or a brush hog. They're kind of in a pecking order. The finish mower is just that. It's engineered and designed to do a nice clean cut on your blades of grass. So if you have a nice beautiful lawn, you're going to want a finish mower because it will cut clean and even throughout the lawn, and it gives you a nice groomed look. Now it's probably also good for doing other things. Maybe you can do some underbrush. I know one of the subscribers said he does use it to cut brush sometimes. He just sharpens his blades afterwards. And then you've got your flail mower. Your flail mower will both cut grass and it will also do thicket, underbrush, cut down saplings, small stumps, etc. As you know, this model here will cut up to 3-inch woody material, and it does both. It'll cut grass as well as do brush, or go through some nasty areas of your property. However, the cut is not as clean as a finish mower. That's my understanding, and I'll show you later today after we get through this session, and I'll show you some of the lawn I've cut with it, so you can see it does cut the lawn. It doesn't cut it as nice as the finish mower. And then your third or your last one is your brush hog. And the brush hog usually has swinging blades. It sits on a stump plate, or what they call a stump jumper, and it's got a big wheel in the back, and it's a big unit, and you drag it through or push it backwards, and it will chew or knock down woody material, grass, hay, and it does the least best job of a clean cut. That's my understanding. It'll knock it down, it'll cut it down, but it'll cut it much more jagged or ragged than a flail mower. And of course, the flail mower will do it more ragged than a finish mower. So that's my understanding of the 3 different types. What you need for your property all depends on what you plan on cutting and how much of different densities you have. Are you all front lawn? Do you have a big forest that you want to pull something through to knock down a lot of stumps? Those kind of things. The important thing I wanted to point out today is my understanding is that none of these implements are actually designed to withstand hitting rocks all the time. They're not built to hit rocks. They're built to take down woody material, grass, vegetation, that kind of thing. So as you probably noticed on the video, every time I've used this thing, as much as I've tried not to hit rocks, I hit rocks every time. Because here in Central Ontario, as you know on this property, if you subscribe to the channel, I got rocks everywhere. And I do my best to go through the brush or to go through the lawn, pick up any errant rocks or dig them out when I can, to try to get rid of them, and that'll take a long time, but no matter how hard you try, there's always a few hiding underneath something, and I have certainly hit them every single time I've used this flail mower. Surprisingly, although I tend to edit it out, I've also hit rocks with my finish mower almost every time I've used it, and it's just one of those things. It's going to happen. So if I'm going to break a blade or something's going to bust, I think that's just the cost of doing business. That's just part of the deal, because I'm certainly never going to be in a position where I have no rocks here. So that's the rock thing. I want to take you guys out and just show you a little closer how this flail mower has been cutting. So let's zip around the back of the building and let's take a look at what I did this last week. Okay, so this is the hill on the side of my septic tank. You probably remembered I've cut it twice with the flail mower. This is what I cut just the other day, and I'm just going to focus in for you so you can see how close to the ground it cuts. I think it has 4 settings on it for heights, and I think I'm on the 2nd setting. I'd have to check that, but the skid shoes as well as the back roller both have adjustments for height. So right now I think I'm on the 2nd setting, but as you can see, and I'm just going to zoom you in closer above, it actually mulches everything it eats. So if you'll remember, everything was as high as this and then some, and there were a few saplings in here, primarily poplars I think, and it cut everything down no problem, but this is what you're left with. It should be above me. This was the area here on the side of the house that I cut on the extreme mower video. This was the big tall stuff, lots of saplings, and unfortunately, as you guys saw, lots of rocks. And honest, I tried to take out as many rocks as I could find before I took that thing into that big thicket, but again, you've got them hiding everywhere, so I think you probably saw in the video a little puff of smoke come out a couple of times while I was mowing. That would be my friends here, which are all, you know, chafed up from the hammers hitting them. But again, much harder ground than what you saw on the side of the septic, but it still, I'll show it above me, even though it's harder, does a great job of mulching and dropping it down below, and it takes it right down to the ground. So I'll bring you in for a closer look above. Okay, so this area here was a lot of grass, and then the grass kind of floated into brush. And you'll see them on the side of the lake. This is the area I did on the last video, I believe, that you'll see posted. And you'll see I put a little comment as I came through here saying that there was about a 10-inch maple stump sitting in this ground. And this is where I did it. Same kind of thing, I'll put it above me, but you know, the grass is mulched. And of course where the stump was, and I'll show that above me as well, here's what's left of the stump. And she did a pretty good job of chewing it up. And of course you're left with this, a lot of ground wood. Yep, you got it. I cut some grass. So I took the flail mower out on my front lawn. You should have seen that in the last video, I believe. And sure enough, does the exact same thing. I'll put it above me, but mulches everything, mulches the grass down, and cut the grass down pretty tight to the earth. I mean, a little bit lower than I like my front lawn, so I'm gonna have to adjust it, but where it is right now, you'll see that it doesn't cut the grass blades as clean as my finish mower does, but it does a pretty good job. I mean, it's no slouch job, it cuts it off. It's just not quite as clean and perfect as the finish mower would do. All right, so that should give you a good idea of how it cuts different types of terrain or different types of brush or grass. So I'm going to take her back up there, grab the tractor, and I'm going to flip that unit over so we can take a look at the underside of it and the hammers and see how it's weathered the many rocks and stumps that I've hit with it. All right, come along. All right, folks, so I've got the tractor warming up. I'm going to grab a strap, I'm going to strap it to this thing and flip it over so we can look underneath the flail mower and check out how well the hammers have done over the last couple of weeks. Just so you know, I edit out a lot of stuff, and I have to be honest, I've hit a lot of rocks with this thing. Every time I use it, I end up hitting a few. And I've hit some stumps, which I think, you know, is woody material, so hopefully that was okay. But as you know, we keep things straight up on this channel, and honest, I have not looked under that flail mower yet. So we're both going to be looking at it for the first time together when I flip it over. Before we get to it though, just wanted to give you some info. So these are the knives, and this is what, you know, flail mowers will come with. Usually this one does. This 48-inch unit comes with 40 knives, and they're usually together on each bracket with a spacer. They're reversible. You can see they're edged on both sides, and they basically hang with a spacer and flail, and that's for cutting grass primarily. What we have on this unit is what they call the hammers, which you can get probably for any flail mower. And as you can see, this thing is much bigger, much heavier, much thicker. It's got a spline down the middle, which I think is to provide more strength as well as to help clear brush. And you'll see the way it swings is it has an edge on this side, and it scoops. Okay, I just flipped it. I'm going to get this thing out of the way because I don't want to be sitting underneath the boom. I know it's not going to fall, but it might fall. So I'm just going to take it off, get this stuff out of here. This thing should sit on its own. I'm just going to put some wood under it, and then we can take a look. So here they are. Here's my hammers. And as you can see, definitely I've chewed up some of the edges of these hammers, and I'm sure we know who the culprits are over there. Okay, and we'll take a look around here. just so I can see what we're looking at. Okay. Okay, so you can definitely see that I've bent some of the edges on these hammers. So far, nothing's split by any means, which is a good thing. I expect, just like my other, I mean, I've got a couple of dings in the blades on my finish mower already. So that's maybe, that's just maybe because I'm not really good at it. But they seem to be holding up well. No split. No split. No split. Let me just get to the other side here. Nope, all good again. Just drop this down. Okay, good. 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 We checked those hammers. No broken hammers, no split hammers, nothing missing. The edges, on the cutting edges, you know, some of them are dented or there's a little chunk out here and there. That's going to happen. In this part of Ontario, as you know, it's rocks everywhere, and that's just a way of life. So as much as I'm going to try not to hit rocks when I'm mowing the grass with my finish mower or using that thing, or you know, any other implement with the tractor, at the end of the day, the rocks are here and you just got to live with them. Pleased that I didn't damage anything, which is good because I've used it 9 different times now, and it's holding up pretty good. The hammers are in pretty good shape. Rollers looking good. So there she has it. Hopefully that provides some answers and some questions to some of the debate and the dialogue that's been going on in the comments. Again, for you experienced guys that are subscribers that, you know, have been using flail mowers or bush hogs, really appreciate it again, as always, if you'd be kind enough to provide some advice or some experience or thoughts on the different units in the comments like you always do. I think that's really helpful for a lot of folks that are considering them. Other than that, guys, thanks a lot. I hope it was helpful for everyone. If you like the channel, please click subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want to know when I'm putting out videos, just click the little bell. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again. Cheers.